follow along with me for this drill where we're going to work the muscles on the, you want to find your bone here. We want to be on the inside squishy part, and then we're going to follow that bone along up and then kind of up here a little bit. I will have 2 minutes on the clock, but feel free to continue to explore beyond what we do together because you might need more time. You need the lacrosse ball, a 30+ pound kettlebell. Now, if you don't have a kettlebell, I've tried getting creative with different weights and it just does not work as well because the kettlebell has this flat bottom, nice easy handles. So if you would like to try this out but don't have a kettlebell, I also have this so right where you would lay on your belly. But the problem with this is that when I'm doing this particular mushing, it does feel good and it's accurately getting in the psoas, but sometimes when I get off of it, my low back has already, it's just like in pain, which kind of defeats the purpose sometimes of doing some of this stuff. Now this is good for traveling. I have to really relax on the floor and kind of focus on making sure that I'm not overextended here. But I can work this all the way down to where we're about to go, where I can put this right next to that bone, really, really deep down here. But I can also work it up a little bit higher into the belly where the psoas is deep. So anyways, invest in one of these if you don't want to grab a 30 to 35 pound kettlebell. So what we're going to be doing with this today is, as I showed you earlier, we want to find this bone and on the inside of it, not outside. Also, people tend to want to start where their legs are really tight in these hip flexors, but we're not actually on that. We're just on squishy guts the whole time. So we're gonna go ahead, grab the kettlebell, bring it to the body, find your bone, and then we're gonna put the ball on the squishy part right alongside the bone. All right, so I'm right next to this bone here, and we're gonna begin with our legs slightly bent, feet flat, and then I want you to angle the handles towards your knee. And then we're gonna extend your leg, make sure that our pelvis is tucked, and we're going to now lower the leg. So you can actually see this is a tight area for me. My leg is not on the ground. And it just gives you a sign that if my chest is in a good position, I can't reach full range. And even though that is a symptom of my problem, it is not necessarily the cause. However, doing this mobility is a Band-Aid for helping me alleviate some pain. Now, it's really important that you're focusing on your midsection. Just like with a movement, you're going to crunch your ribs inwards, tuck this pelvis. You can see it's very slight. This is not very much, but it is very important. And if I get into position and I don't maintain it, you see how I can get full range overextended, right? Here's my hand from the other side of my body. That's the reason why when you're working out and we're not in good positions, that's why we develop the pain. In reality, I'm forcing a range that is not there. All right, so I'm moving the ball just inch by inch. Every time you see me reset, I'm moving it up the body just a little bit, still along the bone line. So focus on tucking the chest inwards, the pelvis upwards. Get your body into your position with the foot extended, and then lower. So when I stay in a good position, I can't get the full range that I had when I was in the bad one. Right? That bad position makes you think that you're getting full range when in reality, you're cheating. That's what causes pain and injuries over time. It's the same for the shoulder, right? Shoulder presses especially. People bend their back to get the weight over their line of balance, and then it causes back pain. So it's really, really important that you integrate all these different mobility pieces. And it's why for my clients, I'll integrate mobility before a workout, accessing range of motion. So now what we're going to do is I've made my way to basically the top of the hip, and I want to go to the side, but it's more difficult with the kettlebell there. So what we're going to do is lay a little bit to the side. I'm going to have the lacrosse ball right above the hip, and then push down on these muscles and then try to stretch your leg out. This side actually does not feel that bad. And you might have that. You might have one side that feels like way worse than the other side. So I just tried a couple pass-throughs above the hip. I feel pretty good about it. It doesn't really feel like a whole lot of pain, so that's a good sign. We're going to now go over to the other side. So I'm going to angle myself this way. So remember, we're going to start back at the beginning. You're going to find the bone, and we want to be on the inside of it. It should be squishy. It's the V part of your V, right? Everybody has a V. Even boys, there's a V section. So you could actually see where the ball is placed. It is just in the squishy part right next to the bone. Angle your kettlebell towards the knee and then stretch out your leg. The one thing that I forgot to mention that I already do, my body knows to do it, but you want to tuck the pelvis just a little bit. You can see it's not much. It's just slight. I'm pushing the low back into the ground. Crunch the ribs in as best you can, just slightly. It's not overly so. And then you can angle the kettlebell more towards your knee like that, and then come back up. Take the ball off, move it around an inch or a centimeter, and then repeat. All right, I'm a little bit to my side now. Not all the way on the side, but it's at an angle where I'm just gonna lift my body up off of the floor, crunch my pelvis in, and then drag that leg to more fuller extension. So the goal is to try to get that leg straight. You can even use assistance with your foot, pushing down. Now sometimes when people do this, I really think that it takes a minute to understand it, okay? So if you're not getting it right off the bat, that's okay. There's a lot happening here. Tuck your pelvis under, crunch your ribs in, angle the kettlebell towards the knee, and then stretch out the leg. Use your other leg for a little bit more if you need it. It's really important that you're breathing out. When you breathe out, it relaxes your body. It sends signals that you're not in a fight or flight. Nothing needs to be tensed up more to protect you. Now, I'm on my side here. I'm just gonna explore a little bit with the kettlebell, kind of pushing in. There is this tight line of muscles. You can see I'm off to my side. I hope you can see it. I'm just gonna let the weight of the ball push in. This felt so tight that it didn't hurt. And you might actually find doing some of these mobility issues, you're like, hey, actually it's not that bad. And then after a few minutes, you realize those are tight muscles that are in protect mode. And you don't feel, sometimes for the first couple of minutes, you actually don't really feel any pain at all. So that's kind of a different feeling, isn't it? So I'm actually off to the side now. You can see I'm pushing the ball in. I'm still on squishy muscles. I did not feel this way on the other side. The other side felt supple and good. So that means that I do have this imbalance, and you might find that on your body as well. So I have not been actually timing this one. I've really just been exploring each side, and when I felt done, I switched. Because this one in particular for me is I have to visualize what's happening down here and follow along the line of muscles. And I kind of know when I'm done because my leg is getting more range. You can feel it in real time. All right, but this side muscle here, I have the ball right here, right? This is where I'm gonna need to spend some extra time on. So I hope that this is something you've been able to follow with. I know that the camera angle might not be very good to see exactly what's happening, but this has been a highly effective mobility piece for me, where I need my psoas and hip flexors to start loosening up in this chain of muscles. It's going to be really important that you just don't do what we just did, but like do a foam roll or quad mash. I do take this and hit the tight hip flexors. I still will roll in there, but then I'll take the kettlebell and keep going up this line of muscles up into the belly. You can also use a softball sized ball to hit a little bit more into the gushy bits up here. So I hope this has been helpful. If you would like more help with this particular movement, reach out to me. I provide custom workout plans for my clients, and will be happy to meet with you for a complimentary session if you're interested in having assignments for workout plans, warm-ups, cool downs, and mobilization strategies for your needs.